everyone, guess what? We're here with John Gist. He's the mastermind behind Planet Desert Rock Weekend, which,
Mastermind. Wow.
yeah, mastermind. Happens this year, January 29th through February 1st at the usual place.
Ooh, good.
Ooh.
Yes, sir. You know it. You've
Yeah,
been to the
John,
usual place, right?
yeah, I have. That's where I saw Sergeant Thunderhoof last year.
That's right.
That just blew my mind. I love those dudes so much.
Yeah, they're unbelievably good band. They'll be back at some point. Leave it at that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Bands like that are too good for me not to keep in the family and bring back. Because I like I really like bringing bands back that are really, really good, and are cool, cool cats. So, anyways,
Yeah. Well,
enough of
they
that.
jammed, but like touching on the bill last year, I think the bill last year was fantastic. There were some bands I was unfamiliar with, as there are this year,
Yeah.
uh, that really blew my mind. And I told Dave this, but like Luna Soul was the set that I didn't know that I needed.
Yeah. 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 What a refreshing, it was just one of these sets that really was refreshingly different. I think Dave Engstrom is such a showman. For folks that don't know who Dave Engstrom is, he was the longtime guitarist, or is the longtime guitarist for Hermano, and he was in Super Fuzz as well as a bunch of other bands, Black Cat Moan or some Bone or something. But anyways, yeah, and he put together players also, which I loved. I mean, he brought on Sage from Sonolith to play bass on
Yep.
song, and then he brought up Jason Walker, who earlier that night played with Jason Walker's Bad Motorfinger. Um,
That was a fun set too. That
yeah,
Bad Motorfinger set was great.
yeah, and I know that was a little like different, and I do like to get different, and I just think me and Jason just randomly thought that up. I mean, it was kind of my stoned thought, if you will. But I already had heard him play Soundgarden songs and some from that album. So I knew he liked it and he was really good at it. And I know what his vocal capabilities are. And I just recently saw him at House of Blues as part of like a grunge night, or everybody was on a grunge night that night. And dude, it was insane. I still have video to put out from it. I put out some and people are like, holy shit. Like
Yeah.
that's the guy that should go sing for Chris if they ever decide to do something again. Don't bring in a girl. That's a guy that actually sings it, right? Like, you don't need skinny ass Taylor Monson or whatever her name is, who, if there's like a crack in the stage, she'll fucking, slip halfway in there. I mean, it's crazy.
Lost. Like,
But Jason
ah,
is just an unbelievable musician. And I think it's important to, have good musicians and have a mix of some stuff within the hard and heavy rock genres, if you will. And
yeah.
Soundgarden, for me, it's a sacred band within our scene. It's probably the number one grunge band that we all probably like the most, with Alice in Chains right there with
Well,
it.
so like here's the question that I have, right? Soundgarden, yes, they came from Seattle, but are they really like a grunge band?
Grunge is just a
You know?
label. It was a
Right.
marketing. In the
That,
end, it really encapsulates 90s, like late 80s, early 90s, hard heavy rock movement that didn't care about the glitz and glamour and the shit that the big labels were feeding us, the hair metal stuff, which was really tilted a lot more towards women, in broadening their audience. And I love the ladies, but musically, men and women are very, very, very different if you really dig in to what they like. And I was in college when this stuff started coming out, and I was an 80s metalhead, in the peak of metal. And when this stuff started coming out, boom, I was right there. I was on Soundgarden and Alice in Chains as soon as the first time I heard them. And I had a Loud and Love album. So I was early on this band and spreading the word in North Carolina in college. And it just spoke to me more, you know, and them dressing and, you know, all into heroin and all that stuff that isn't necessarily my thing. And when I talk to metalheads from the 80s around here, which we have a dominant strain of that, they're like, oh yeah, I totally like the hair metal better. It was about having a good time, man, and upbeat and not fucking doing heroin and being all depressed. And I'm like,
Well,
well,
you know,
when you're in
I
your
think it,
20s and you don't know what life has in store for you, you're struggling in school, you're ADHD and you don't even realize it, and you know, still trying to find your way with relationships and women and what, you know, that Gen X angst that a lot of us had. Like, what is next for us? Like, the boomers are just killing it. Like, is there a spot for us in this world? And I just think that grunge era is just amazing. And you know, Caius fit like a glove right in there. And Dave Grohl was one of the guys to sit there and really promote it and talk about it.
yeah.
Go
Well,
ahead.
that was, that was such a, it was a good era for music because I also was I love the hair metal. You know, I did, man. Motley Crue, Poison. I was like, yeah, it's
Oh,
great. And then I got introduced into the thrash and death, and I was like,
yeah.
oh my God. And then grunge came along, and I guess, I was an early Nirvana adopter with Bleach, which
Wow.
introduced me to everything else.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, oh, what? Hold
Yeah.
on, what is this? This is awesome. It's
Yeah.
what everyone needed instead of the good, clean, hey, we're gonna do all the Coke in the world and drink all the Jack Daniels in the world. It was,
And
these
wear a lot of
people.
makeup and be as
Yeah,
pretty as some of the women in the audience.
yes.
Not my thing. Nothing against it, but not my thing. And so I'm not alone, obviously. So, you know, what's interesting is we talk about the grunge era is last year, or yeah, now it's last year. You know, we had Mark Hennessy from the band Paw, which made an imprint during that era as well. And, you know, and the band Godzillionaire, and they opened up night two as part of the Ripple Showcase. And I haven't released my top 30 albums yet, or 40 albums yet. I've done, you know, the best of the rest, and I've done 41 to 50, but Godzilla in Air, not to be surprised, it's going to be top five. And I have it on my phone still, and I've had it for a year plus. And, you know, I'm even gonna move in a lot of stuff. And a couple of their songs have come on shuffle recently, and it's just like, it's just a great album. You keep hearing it, and you like it better and better. And
Yeah.
because it's rock and roll. You know what I mean? It's rock and roll. It's not cut exactly the
Well,
way it's supposed to be all the time.
I think that's a lot of it in the heavy rock arena, right? Like it's so you can hear such a heavy like blues influence through
Yeah.
a lot of it, which is what, rock and roll came from. And
Yes.
it gives you that good just rock and roll feel when you're listening to it. I'm going through knowing we're going to talk today, I'm going through the lineup, and like I said, there are some bands in there I didn't know. I was not familiar with Space Slug.
Okay.
And I'm listening and I'm like, holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I was at one time I was planning on them the next year. Uh and you know, I've never had more shifting of a lineup for Planet S Rock in my life. Like bands bailing on me and you know, whatever issues. I mean, they're all issues like it's, supposedly, you know, family and you know, money and whatever. So, you know, me and Space Slug have kept in contact. I mean, we have a relationship, and Camille and I, who's the drummer and one of the three singers, because all three of them sing, you know, have kept in contact. And hell, at one time I was considering bringing them and Palm Desert over this time together. I'm like, hell, I'm already flying Tubi over. You know what I mean? You know, I've already got Tubi coming over. But I didn't want to pull the trigger. Probably in retrospect, I probably should have, but that means one of these great bands wouldn't be on the list. But I just decided, after losing a few of the bands, that I wanted a little oomph. So there came Space Love, and yeah, and a lot of folks. I hate this, Tom. I hate talking like this. But you run ads or you post stuff, and the bands post stuff about playing, and fans that aren't really in tune with what really is the deal with our scene and with the 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 makeup of what the United States of America's rock scene and metal scene is, they're like, "Oh, Space Hulk, you got to come out to Toledo, Ohio. You got to make it out here. Oh my God, we need you down in, over in Seattle sometime." And it's just not really that feasible. And so these
Right.
people pass up this rare opportunity in hopes that one day these bands do a big tour, but they're not going to do a big American tour. They might do a quick couple week regional, but there is no money in America. I mean, these bands will not play in front of a lot of people at other shows. And so that's the reality people have to start thinking about is, do I jump on some of these festivals knowing I love this band, but I don't know if I'll ever see them again. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if I'll ever get the chance because
Well,
banking on them playing the middle of nowhere, Kentucky or Ohio or Idaho or Pennsylvania, it doesn't matter. The odds are completely against you. And that's
yeah.
the status of where we're at in America.
Well,
Period in a
I,
sentence. They can go do
I,
a 3 week tour in Europe and play in front of hundreds of people every night. Here, they're probably lucky to get 100. Most of them are playing in front of 30 to 50 or 60. And
I was
I
going to
know
say
that
tens
because
of people.
I have bands that come over to do Planet
Yeah.
is Rock and do tours. I mean, the venues don't know how to promote. They don't promote. They think just posting something without even using tags is promoting. The bands hate promoting mostly, and they don't know how to do it most of the time. So there's no one's going to come, and that's the reality. And so for me, I just need to get it out there to people to understand this is your time. Seize the moment. Devil and the Almighty Blues are not going to come around. They may never be back. And all these other, and for me, it's important that the bands have this very fulfilling experience, that we're there for them. And that's why I promote the living crap out of this. And for some, it's probably a turnoff, and they're like, "Oh God, Planet is Rock. I'll never go to that. I'm tired of seeing his ads. I'm tired of
Yeah,
seeing him
but that
post." And
like that blows my mind.
that's a
But
mental glitch.
it's such a good time. Like we had such a
It
good
is.
time. Like so funny. I mean, last year was my first year going, and my buddy who went with me, we made a really good friend who lives in like St. Louis, and we still hang out. I actually talked to him yesterday. We're gonna go see Crowbar and I Hate God when they're on the road. So I'm
Woo.
like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. There's a group of guys that came up to me, and I know one of them because he's local. They came up to me and go, "John, we got to thank you for something besides doing this, doing the festival. We got to thank you because the four of us, we all met one year, and now we got group chat going, and we're always looking forward to meeting each other. We're hanging out, we're making other plans, and it's really a like-minded gathering of rock and roll people. And I mean, I make no bones about it. Our demographic's very basic. It's Gen X is the meat and potatoes of it, and there's some Gen Y for sure. And then there's some boomers. I mean, they're getting old, but there's some folks in their 60s that come. And we would love 20 somethings that come, but it's just they've not been programmed by mainstream and the media and everything else to even think about rock and roll. And
I,
so
I'm gonna
it's
argue against that. I think they're.
it's not
I think
enough.
I think we're getting to a point where they are seeing the this is where music is, this is where you have a great time, like like I mentioned I Hate God. I'm a big I Hate God thing,
Right.
fan. Have been for many, many years.
Yeah.
And I just went to see him in Nashville, and every time I go, I expect old fat white guys, in the crowd. We're older. That's what I expect. And I'll tell
Yeah.
you what, probably 40% of the crowd was sub 25.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, the metal like that, and that has young people, for whatever reason, the super heavy aggressive stuff, it does. It always has 20 somethings and lower. But I think rock and roll, um, it's tricky. It's just, I think it's tricky. I went to a grunge night, not the one I was telling you about with Jason Walker, but another one that had Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Stone Temple Pilots, and Alice in Chains. And I was blown away. It was all ages. It was a house blues. And there was a nice group of, teenagers, below teenagers, young 20s there. And, of course, it's Nirvana and Alice in Chains. I mean, all four of those bands get radio play constant. And so
Yeah.
it's easy to default to a cover band as well. Um, our top promoter here in town for the heavy underground, or one of the two, he quit. There's no one going. I mean, dude, I went to shows where there was like seven of us.
Yeah,
Like
I've been to
bands
those
like
shows.
Friendship Commanders, like good band. Like
Yeah.
seven or eight besides the band members. I mean, we're playing in the back of a lounge now. That's how bad this scene is. I'm about to run an ad for Vegas people, and it's a broad thing. And I'm just going to do a quick, paragraph thing to say, hey, rock is alive and well. Check this out. It's a festival in your city. Come aboard. Come hear musicians playing real music. No backing tracks, organic, those kind of things. And we'll see. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not a cheap ticket. I always want to give them a discount. I mean, at this point in time, the Vegas locals, I mean, it's just not a great scene unless it's a bigger name. Um,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, I think
I
a
want the
lot of,
kids, trust me. And I could talk to kids. They would like, I mean, the 20 somethings would love me. If we, me and them start talking, we didn't talk politics or anything stupid like that. But we just talk about rock and roll and partying and women. What's not to like? Things I've always loved. You know what I mean? And so sex, drugs, and rock and roll um, doesn't need to belong to rap only. And I think we need to take back that's part of what can be the energy of rock and roll, the experience of the music itself. When you lock into it, I think for some, they need to listen to the music before they go to these concerts, just so they're a little bit of aware of it. And familiarity breeds, getting pumped up. Um, I think really helps, and that's why I do the preview playlist. Um, and
I
some
think
people
a
that
lot
get
of
back to
that.
me, they're like, holy shit.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of people like the best introduction for me is live,
Okay.
because you can listen to them. I can listen to them on the radio or on streaming or whatever and be like, yeah, okay. But when they perform live, it it hits different.
Yeah.
There's that feeling. Like there wasn't I the Luna Soul set. I'll go back to that yet again, because the energy that was brought that night. It was the end of the weekend, so
Yeah.
day four, people are exhausted, ready to go home, and even at that set to the last note, everyone had a great time.
Yeah.
They were moving, like holy shit. Like I said, it was the set I didn't know that I needed.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. You know what's funny is, as you mentioned just a little bit earlier, Space Slug is who will finish off the weekend. Which
yep.
for some, a lot of people bought the 3 night package originally, which is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I've almost wanted to keep reminding people like, hey, night four, because this night four is the best Sunday I've ever put together in my life. You
Oh,
know,
dude. Like you got High Desert Queen, Basque, Space Slug, Westing. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, Basque, a late entry, and I'm glad that we were able to work through it and get them here. They haven't played on the West in the West ever. I think furthest west they played was like Wyoming or something and Denver. So their new album really, I mean, dude, I did a couple months of listening to Basque and just really dug into them. And the first month was before I considered, all right, I'm going to hit them up. And it's they have some artistically super cool stuff and musically, and they use different things too. They've been a little picky about some of the amps and all that stuff. Like they're the highest maintenance one yet. I love them that they're doing that actually because they care. And so I think
yeah,
that's cool. It's going to cost me more money, but I think that's cool because there's a pride in it, and I think that that's important. That Sunday, I wanted to finish so good that people are ready to snag tickets for the next year. And Westing is going to be special. Westing's going to start off the whole day because Cody Tarbill on drums, which is an animal, he has a certain drum set. So, you know, anyone who knows anything about backlines and all this stuff, you try to do 20-minute backline between, change up.
yeah.
So we're gonna just have them set it up, set things off, and start off, with that set. And that's classic rock tinge, Led Zeppelin-y, sound. I mean, I really try to tailor a lot of this fest to really get down to the basis of rock and roll on some of it. And I think
Yeah.
that's a direction that, I like because we want to be different than the other festivals. All the other ones,
Well,
they bring all these things in.
if you're
I
gonna,
like to tinge in a different direction a little. I don't know.
that's I think that's the beauty of being at, not going after the popular vote, I guess, and doing what you love. Is you get such killer artists like the Devil and the Almighty Blues. I don't think, even as much as people want to see them, I don't think they're ready for that set. And they're gonna see it and they're gonna be like, oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
Like,
Um, like I really like their music. Okay, that's first off. But what I really love about them is everything I've seen and heard about their live performances. And that's important. And I can tell they have very much big pride. They have killer guitarists too, and the frontman looks to be a little bit of a wild man. I don't know if he's going to wear a schmuck or a robe or whatever. He's going to do something. He's a captivating figure. His name's Arndt, not R, but Arndt, Arnt. And he's been the guy I've been working with in all this, and he's the one who took the chance and took the leap to come over to America and play my fest, and he's been, an integral part of, the top of the lineup as well. And I really haven't probably banged them out as much to people as I should because they're kind of a big deal if you look at their numbers.
dude, like, even aside from the numbers, I think musically they are a big deal. They put the music they put out
Yeah.
is fucking phenomenal. I think they've got this song and it's like he is preaching all, through it, and I'm just like, oh, I fucking love it, dude. I could see him behind the pulpit, just
Yeah,
going to it.
totally. I mean, I talked to Debbie Lee. She's been one of the instrumental figures in why I do Planet Is Rock. She's one of this crowd. I mean, Planet Is Rock doesn't happen without people. I mean, as much as I'm a mastermind, I call it more like I'm the engineer of the crazy train. She said to me, John, I saw them at like Desert Fest Oslo, and holy shit, people are gonna be shocked at what they bring. And a number of other people chimed in as well, and yeah, and they're gonna cap off Friday night. I linked them and Ripple up, so they'll get some re-releases going on Ripple, and hopefully new music in the next year or two. But I linked them up, basically another A&R for me, and Ripple is probably a dozen plus now. But I'm happy to, kind of get that rolling, because they're a band that needed a home, and we know Ripple will take care of it, and has an automatic crowd of people to listen.
For
And Planet
sure.
Does Rock will have an automatic crowd of people there to the bitter end, unless they're
Yeah.
doing shrooms and they freak out and have to leave, like someone I know, S. Patrick Brooks. But anyways,
Damn
he
it,
told me
Sean.
he left before Omega Sun. I'm like, what? And some people didn't know Omega Sun was going to play. So this year, they didn't know they were going to play last, which is what I did this past year. I am going to have the set times in the bathrooms and a couple other places in the venue, so people know, because I do screw around with bands and set orders. I'm not your traditional guy where the big, like, I'll tell you this, like the Well, they're the first or second biggest band on opening night. They're not playing last or second to last. They're playing third. But there's backline situations and stuff like that also. And
Yeah.
in the end, people are staying the whole time anyways. And the ego thing needs to go to the side, because I remember Solace gave me some shit. It's funny. And them boys don't give a fuck. They're like, "Ram jersey," and put it in your face. And they're like, "You guys playing second?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah. Look at the lineup. Everyone's about the same size, and a couple bands, got to it early and said we need that." And they're like, "Holy," and I think they thought maybe people weren't going to be there. But dude,
Oh no, people were there
we
for
have a line
sure.
of 100 people plus long down the street before doors
Yeah.
open. You know what I mean? People are
Yep.
ready. And
I'm gonna
I'm
I'm gonna
usually
tell you something.
I'm usually pestering the venues. Like, let's
But
get it open. Let's get it open. Let's get you some alcohol sales right now. People are ready.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, they are ready to drink for
Yeah.
sure.
And so
So
Solace was playing in front of as big a crowd as pretty much anyone that day.
funny,
And
funny
I never heard
story
another
about
peep
them.
out of it. And we're
They
friends to this day since.
yeah. So I'm telling my buddy, I'm like, oh dude, Solace is playing. I'm stoked. I'm gonna see them. He goes, dude, you've seen them. I said, no, I haven't. He goes, you absolutely have. I had them at a show probably 20 fucking years ago. And
Wild.
and he's like, I know you were there. You were at all my shows. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I was. Oh,
For the
that's
other
funny.
singer, and they've been around obviously since 2000 or maybe in 99. So great
Yeah.
band. Looking forward to seeing them at my buddy's Ripple Fest, and seeing them again. Me and Ryan have definitely some crossover, and it's because me and him have a lot of the same taste. And that's just the way it's going to be. I try to time it where I don't have a band that's playing on his also, but it's just going to happen. And that's all right, because I pull a lot more Californians over, and some Oregon, some Washington, that aren't going to go to Texas ever.
Right.
You know what I mean? Ever. So it works out all right in the end. So
So what band this year are you most excited to have?
that's like asking your favorite. Who's your favorite kid? It
I
might
have a
be.
favorite kid.
I mean, for a band I've never seen before, it's going to be Devil. Um,
Oh,
I think so, because I'm hyped about it. A band I've seen a couple times before, and I'm a believer in them. I think they're one of the best rock and roll bands now. They only got 4,000 fans, but they have pure good rock and roll, an unbelievable singer, great songwriting, outstanding riffing guitars. Is Saturna. Um, that's a set I will look forward to, and they're going to play one of the longer sets. He asked, and I'm like, all right, let's do it. I mean,
hell yeah.
we'll be live until 1 o'clock that night.
Yeah.
It's all right. You know what I mean? Even the Quill, the oldest band, they're playing last, and they're like, oh, we're a bunch of old men, and I'm like, yeah, Red Bull vodka, a couple of those. If you don't drink, I don't know, some sativa, whatever. Just take a nap, in the car, do something. But you're going to be awake when you get on that fucking stage, because people are going to be ready to rock. Everyone's moved up close. at
Yeah.
that stage, it's got the fence, whatever you call that thing,
Oh yeah, the barricade.
barricade. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a good stage, and I got great backline set up, really, really good backline set up by and sound being done by a trusted guy here locally. I love the guy I had last year for Usual Place, but he is touring with bands now a lot more. He's a complete pro. But yeah, I think
So,
those are two sets I'm really, really looking forward to. But I mean, you can't go wrong with Freedom Hawk.
no, they're gonna
You can't go
they're
wrong
gonna
with a Well.
crush.
You can't go wrong with Kaiser. I'm really looking forward to Paralyzed, who I've never seen before.
Oh yeah. So they were also new to me, and I was listening to them. I'm like, holy shit, this is good.
Yeah, another top 10 album for me of last year. Um, they're like the Doors, but heavier, with
Yeah.
much heavier guitar, I would say. Meaning it's not as much of the atmospheric and all that kind of stuff. It's heavy and it's just, barroom fucking ready to roll. And I'm looking forward to them. And they got, the singer looks like a gregarious, very active singer. He also plays guitar. He looks like a good looking guy, got the beard. Beautiful looking guitarist slash organ player, Katarina, who's married to the drummer. And for the first time ever, I'm renting an organ that night. Because if you
Oh
listen to
shit.
the music, organ it's badass. So her being able to play guitar and that, because he's playing guitar also, really will give us some depth, I think, to it. And again, it harkens back to rock and roll music.
Yeah.
And the quill is just goodness, like hard rock goodness.
It'll be. I think
And
it'll
the
be
singer,
killer. Something that I think surprised a lot of people. I know surprised a lot of people was Bobby Liebling showing up last year at the Usual Place.
yeah. Yeah, I had to go to the door to let him in because Henry Vasquez, the drummer of Pentagram and St. Vitus and all these other bands, I saw him like the previous night and he said, "Hey, can you put me on the list?" I'm like, "Oh, okay, He'd probably beat me up if I didn't. And I'm joking. I love Henry. And so the next day, I didn't know I was supposed to put him on the list the next day. And so someone hunts me down. And yeah, I don't really love having to go to the door for issues. I really don't.
Right.
That's my least favorite thing in the middle of the show. Um, but I had to. Right? And they're like, well, "We need to talk to you. Someone's out here." I'm like, "All right." And I go out there. I see Bobby, and I'm like, he's hard to miss, right? I'm like, "Holy shit! No, 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 let this guy know. You sure he wasn't on the list?" I go, "I know, I know, I know. Let him in. Let's go." And
Yes.
that was it.
We're like standing. We're sitting back on the bar, like watching the show, and here comes Bobby. He just fucking walks up, starts chatting with us, like, "Hey, what's up, dude?"
Yeah,
Holy
yeah,
shit.
yeah. I mean, Tony and the bassist Scooter, I think they play in Pentagram also, so they were starting their tour like a day or two later.
Yeah.
But it was super cool to have Bobby there. Alex from Sonolith eventually went up to him and kissed him on the head and had someone take a picture. I don't even know where this enters the brain that this
That
has to
yeah,
happen,
me
but
neither. That was Jocelyn that took that photo.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
well, you know, so
He
that's
was
fun.
like, "Do this." Jocelyn's like, "Okay." I'm like,
Yeah,
"Alex, what the hell are you doing, dude?"
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. You don't care. Um, I am, but I'm really excited about all the bands. I mean, Freedom Hawk, this will be their third time playing. Um,
Nice.
I go way back with these guys. They played the first Planet Desert Rock. They were like literally one of the first three bands I invited to play after I got Garcia. The first one back in 2018. I mean, I had them for a night where I had it Wofat, Sasquatch, Freedom Hawk, all in the same lineup, all in a row. Along with Red Desert was on there, and Black Wolf, and Powered Wig Machine, which is a couple of the guys from Fuzz Evil. I mean, that was an epic night, but it was 30, like 4 degrees outside and had snow flurries. Yeah. So this one, it's indoors. Yeah. And it's been 60 like every day for the last couple of years during the festival. So people go out hiking and shit. Hopefully we get that weather. It's been reasonably warm. People come in from Ohio and Indiana, all that shit, they're wearing shorts. And I'm like, are you
Yeah.
crazy? They're like, nah, man, this is nothing. I'm like, all right. You know, because there's a lot you can do during the day, indoors and outdoors in Vegas. This
Oh
isn't
yeah.
as there is more to do than just the cliche stuff. But anyone who hadn't been to Vegas, they should walk the strip and they need to go to the Bellagio for sure. Like there's things to see at the Bellagio because they have this back garden inside. It's like an Asian garden where it's themed all the time. It's magnificent, and of course you want to see the fountains and all that. And so there's things to do, an
Shit, not
atomic
me.
museum,
I went to the punk rock museum.
of course. One of the guys from Bajas is going to be there this year doing
Oh,
walking tours.
that's cool. We had Des from Black Flag gave us our tour.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Punk Rock Museum and the Mob Museum are both really cool stuff. But anyways, Freedom Hawk, I think they're one of the best bands in our scene. I think every album is good. There's no stinkers. They write amazing amount of songs that can really stick to guitar attack. Um, I haven't we haven't verified how long a set, but it's going to be at least an hour.
Hell
So
yeah.
and Devil the same thing. Devil Now Mighty Blues.
Yeah, that's a set. I wish I was going this year
Yeah,
because
I know you've
oh
had some family things, but
yeah.
we'll see you at the next one, right?
Yep.
And we already got like three bands already penciled in for that, and some bigger bands. Maybe I have four even. So yeah, the lineup. I've already done my writing down and kind of I don't call it wish list or vision list. So we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
this year, God, I just can't believe we're almost there.
I know. You're we're like 2.5, 3 weeks away. Holy shit.
3 weeks. Yeah,
Three
3
weeks.
weeks on
Yeah.
the dot, pretty
Yeah.
much. Oof.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and another band I've never seen, and they're coming out from Italy, and they're doing a little tour as well as Isaac.
Isaac.
Yeah, and they're one of the heavier bands of this lineup. Um, almost like a Red Fangish, but just keeps pounding away kind of stuff with good groove. Out of Italy, this will be my third year in a row with an Italian band. I've continued that tradition with Italy and Canada. Um, and Isaac, was a small stone band, and now they're on heavy psych. They really wanted to play. And so they were already on the list. And then they're like, hey, can we be your Italian? Can we be the Italian representative this year? And I'm like, hey, let's do it. All right. I had
That's so
Mr.
funny.
Bison and Black Elephant before that. And Mr.
Yeah.
Bison, they had one of the sets that many people talked about afterwards, along with Germ.
Oh yeah.
Germ, for most people, that was like religious experience or something.
Yeah.
So we'll
I
miss
think
Count Stanley.
there was a lot of like religious experience going on, last year. And I feel like this is it's the genre to have that in, because rock and roll, that when you can encompass the core of what rock and roll is, it it just doesn't get any better than that,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
It,
know?
it's real. It's authentic. Um, it comes from, you know, blues-based rock. It comes from some country western parts and things. If you really dig deep into the past, um, those two things just kind of fueled it. Then you throw in soul along the way, which like Dirty Streets. Um, that's going to shock people. Like,
Yeah.
they're a rock and roll band. That's it. They're not stoner rock in the least. They actually toured, get this, with Pentagram for a little bit one time. How fucking weird is that? Anyways, and they're like a soulful three-piece that plays blues rock that has a groove to it and will get you moving. Um, Justin, the frontman, just did a interview with Dan Sierras, and it was one of those insightful, well thought out interviews I've heard. really digging into what Justin, how everything kind of came together. He started playing when he was very young. And I just think the world of him and think they're so amazingly talented. And they were happy to be playing on the same day as Heavy Eyes, which are like their brothers from other mothers. Both of them are Memphis, Tennessee bands. And Heavy Eyes, they almost never play in America, really. Um, they live all over the states now, so they're not all in Memphis anymore. So it's just another great opportunity for people to catch, a
Yeah.
band that rarely plays.
Well, I think, that's something really cool that you do though, like is getting these bands to come play that otherwise wouldn't play in the States or play at all.
Appreciate
You
it.
know, like that was um fuck. I, I was trying to there was the band last year. Oh, Fire Down Below.
Oh yeah,
Um
yeah. Great
they
kids,
fucking
too. Great guys.
they ripped. And
Yeah,
Kevin went and got married while they were
yeah,
out
yeah,
there.
yeah. He made the most of what he's over here. I gotta check back in with them, because put a bug in there. Like, I hope you're working on new stuff. I mean, you got when these bands play Planet Does Rock, I really encourage them to keep moving forward though, because now you got a little bit of, you got a bunch of people that just saw you and like you. So create something so that you have some momentum with it. And they're a band that all three of their albums are very good. Ripple took a chance on them early on.
Yeah.
The Ripple Showcase is alive and well this year, as we'll have Paralyzed and Kaiser, who did a split that I helped curate, um, will be coming in just for this. And Kaiser is probably one of the heaviest of the bands, them and Isaac. Kaiser brings it. I'll just say Kaiser album was one of the top albums for me this year.
Oh
So,
shit.
and then also Wolf Tooth just recently added. I got stoner metal band again. Like last year was Solace. This year, Wolf Tooth, I think defines stoner metal, meaning it's not quite like heavy metal. And it's just kind of got that groove, the sword like, heaviness to it,
Yes.
where it's melodic at the same time. And then, of course,
Yeah.
Devil, the Almighty Blues, and Freedom Hawk. So that's a hell of a Friday night, Todd. And Ripple are proud sponsors, a sponsor of Planet Desert Rock. And I'm the one who came up with the idea and said, let's give you one night where it's bands that are part of your label, you know? So it's gonna be a hell of a Friday night.
I think it will be. It's going to be a hell of a weekend. I think anyone that can go is going to be, absolutely blown away. And, I think that was another thing that kind of opened my eyes last year was the family feeling there.
Yeah.
Like the crowd was just like, hey, cool. You can sit here. Like, I'll get
Yeah.
out of your way so you can see. Like, super, super cool.
Yeah. And, you know, uh, Usual Place is a cool outdoor area too, where you can kind of lounge around, you can sit, they got like a park bench kind of, seating there. And then they have this other areas where you can sit. And then in a front area right in the front of the bar where they're like high tops. So there's an outdoor area and it's not that freezing ass cold that you can't handle it. And that's where the smokers go. And I say smokers, wink, wink, because it's legal in Vegas. And yeah, it's not a dispensary per se that you can, anyways, smoking weed is the least of Vegas's worries. We'll put it that way. And
That's the
so
truth.
yeah, dispensaries are everywhere. So people go out there and, take a quick toke or smoke a joint or smoke some cigarettes or whatever, and hang out and talk. It's not as loud out there. And, it's between sets. All the music curated between the sets. I create playlists for each night. So you're surrounded and immersed with music from our scene and not trusting some venue or sound guy to play what he thinks is cool because
Right.
that can go bad quick. Um, yeah, I went to a festival once and a guy was playing rap, and I got him to change it like pretty quick. Like I went to the festival guy and hey man, can we get some rock and roll? I mean, what the fuck, man? We don't need rap everything all the time. All right. We need rock and roll. And let's give some respect and pay homage to our love of what rock and roll is, you know? And so I set it up with bands that have played before and all this other stuff that are new albums out, and just pop on songs and curate it. And hopefully people pay attention to it some, but a lot of people talk, and that's
I
cool.
think there's going to be a lot of conversation, right? Because
I think there's
this
nothing
is
wrong with that.
no, not at all. This is where people like start to bond. I mean, it's uh, it's where people feel a part of a community,
Yeah.
and that's you know that is what helps keep us out of the mental health issues. You don't feel alone,
Yeah.
right?
I think that I've tried to make more of an accent when I post about, Planet Desert Rock, or I do ads, that you don't need to have someone go with you, that you can just show up and you will be amongst the family that you actually want and not the family you were dealt with. Um, and you can immediately strike up conversations and feel comfortable with the people around you, even if you feel socially awkward, or you got some nervousness in public, but you can literally just go to the bar, grab a beer or water, whatever, and look over to the person next to you and go, "Hey, what band are you looking most forward to tonight?" And have a conversation, because you already have something in common with someone,
Yep.
and it can develop more from there. I tell the story that a photographer friend of mine, um, that was in Vegas at the time, she actually met her husband at Planet Desert Rock. Yeah, through me. Yeah. So unfortunately, he passed away this last year in cancer. But what an amazing story! I
Yeah.
mean, it's just like, yeah, so thankful, And it's just, you meet cool people, and it's not just the dude fest either. We definitely have ladies coming, and guys bring their wives, and there's women that are, I'm very thankful to have women that are really into Planet Desert Rock and come, because they're a
Yeah, it's
vital
because
part of it as well.
well, yes, everyone is a vital part
It
of it,
is,
right?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I
definitely
mean,
need.
it's all demographics. I mean,
Yeah,
do I wish there was more younger people? Yeah, but you got everything coming. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian. It does not matter. Gay, straight, trans. It doesn't matter. Got it all. And it's kind of this melting pot of America when you go to Planet X Rock, and everyone just enjoys the unity of music and each other. And the bands, they kill it on merchandise. And I'm very, very thankful for that, because
oh yeah.
that's a very important part of this equation.
Oh, for sure. Like if the as long as the bands are happy, that's
Yeah.
that's like the number one thing. That keeps them putting out good music so we can do more things like this.
It's just a
Ah,
financial thing too. I mean,
yeah,
I mean, if I'm being honest, because everyone is risking stuff when we do this. I'm
for
risking
sure.
a lot, but I'm very thankful. It's worked out the last number of years. But the bands, they risk, at this is an aspect, but they love this experience. Um, and they get this love back from the fans, not only when they're on stage, but afterwards or before, you know,
Yeah.
and people are buying stuff. And, I would say that, the demographic, these are people that are in their middle age, and they have real jobs and stuff. And some of them work too much. Um, and this gives them that little thing to look forward to, one of the things. And so what's cool about us and Ripple Fest is we're months and months apart. And so you got two things right there alone, that you have this time to look forward to getting out of town and escaping work, and the constant, thing of life that,
Yeah.
and being bombarded with news, with all kinds of angles and all kinds of negativity, and you get away from it and you just live. And I think that's an important part of our lives is we need to live. And
Yeah.
if this is proven to be a vehicle for some that just enjoy it, they go out. Some of them like to go play blackjack and, or the machines for an hour or two. I mean, why not? You're in fucking Vegas, surrounded by cool stuff around you. I mean, visually, there's a lot of neat stuff to see in Vegas too. Dare I
There's a lot
say,
of really good food
smoking a
too.
vape pen, down the strip or on Fremont Street. It's pretty funny, It's pretty funny. It's pretty wild. You feel like you're in Italy half the time because we have a lot of Italian themed stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
Caesars, Bellagio, you just keep going,
So
Venetian.
we did the Heart Attack Grill last year.
Oh God.
That was the worst food I've ever ate in my
Why would you
entire
do that?
life. But
Why?
I don't know.
Oh
We just
God, it's
were like,
weird.
hey, let's go do this. And we did it.
How was
And it
the
was,
how was the waitresses or nurses or what? How was that?
I mean, the service was good. The service was good. The food was
Not sure that's what I was
terrible.
asking, but all right. Um,
Well, like I know it what you were asking, and I'm just saying the service
okay,
was good.
okay, well, fair enough. Just that's just me. Yeah, there's neat stuff to do, and it's an experience, and yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of things.
Yeah.
The one band I didn't mention, a couple of bands. One is a late addition was Kind.
Hmm.
You familiar with them?
I am not.
Kind features Craig Riggs, who's the drummer for Sasquatch, which is kind of on ice right now, and formerly the singer of Roadsaw. And so Kind has 3 albums out, Ripple Band, very good, hard, heavy rock. They do not do well on social media. They do not promote their stuff. It's one of the best hidden bands out there. It's always a party with Craig Riggs around. Daryl Shepard on guitar. He played with Black Pyramid for an album or so and did like a European tour and all that. He's a very good guitarist. And on drums is Matt Quoto from Elder originally, the original drummer Elder for first 3, 4 albums.
Wow.
Um, and then they got another gentleman on bass, Tom. So it's kind of a little mini supergroup, and they're not going to play West Coast. They're not doing tours and stuff. They did one West Coast tour on the first album, and that's it. So that'd be cool. Hopefully, Jason Casanova, the bassist from Sasquatch, pops over and hangs out a little bit like he has in the past, and that'd be cool.
Yeah. That's why
And then,
people need to show up. You don't know who's going to show up there. Oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah. And Familiars is one of the most under the radar bands. You probably never heard of them, right?
Mm-mm.
Canadian band. They're got a little bit of Basque in them, but maybe not as they got some depth to them. I'd say heavy psych, Canadiana, they call it. I mean, not Americana, but Canadiana. Um, they got a little bit of progressiveness, deep sound, very there, you can hear the instruments separated some, giving it some spacing, some air, atmospheric. It's not like all 3 or 4 things coming at you at the same time. And I've been a fan of them for a long time. So it's cool to give, under the radar bands like that. That's a Planet Desert Rock tradition to do that. And Phantom Hound kind of falls under the same thing. And their recent album kicked ass. Like, totally. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
it's good.
And
Yeah.
I've known Jake for a good while now. He's done shows in the past. I was a fan since their first album, and so we've kept in contact. And um, yeah, so those kind of smaller bands are instrumental part of what makes Planet Desert Rock hopefully a success, along the way.
Yeah, it's everything, right? It's the music, it's the people, it's the people just being cool, like we're just gonna
Yeah.
go have a good time. And
Speaking of cool, Tom, 2 bands we haven't talked about, and these dudes, both bands, the whole band are cool, is Atomic Bitchwax, which is one of the biggest bands, right?
Yep.
And they're like pure fire live. Um, I love that song that they say like "I hate you" or whatever. And when you see it live, or Hope You Die, it's called. And they are literally singing at each other at the beginning of the song where it's kind of everything's quiet. And it's like, during the mob, in the night, dun, dun. And the other guy sings, and then bam, drums kick in. On drums is Bob Pantella, who now is playing with the Obsessed, and of course is the drummer for Monster Magnet. The guitarist is still with Monster Magnet. The bassist slash singer was in Monster Magnet for a zillion years. Um, those guys are pro. They're out of Jersey. They're one of the first bands I snagged for Planet Ezra Rock. Them and Freedom Hawk. Um, and then Blackwater Rising, which
Oh yeah.
actually probably has the most followers of any band we got on the festival. And, actually got established on the first album and actually got played on Octane Radio, Sirius XM. Um, Back in the early 2010s. Jose Mangan, which is their now program director and big name guy, he's the one that really kind of helped push them along. And
The metal
they just
ambassador. Yeah.
they just write great rock and roll music, and it's two guitar action too. And Rob Trainer writes smart lyrics, and you can hear them. Like his lyrics are smart. That's what I gotta say. If you just go and just listen to him, how he phrases things, what he's saying, it's good. He's a cynic of the world in many ways. Um, has no political leanings, just wants to tell you what's happening in the world. And man, that shit is so good. They're gonna blow people away. They're I would call them stoner rock adjacent.
Stoner rock adjacent.
Yeah, they're just. I mean, in the end, stoner rock is rock.
Yeah. Oh,
But
for sure.
not everything stoner rock sounds like Black Sabbath.
Right.
So it's kind of when people start really pegging bands into like these
Well,
labels.
that's where all the subgenres come in, and
Yeah,
like rock and roll is a pretty wide umbrella.
yeah,
I
yeah.
heard something
Blackwater
today. They're
Rise is
like
gonna fit. It's gonna fit like a champ. They played my second one year, the same day as like Sasquatch and some other bands, and people fucking love them. And
oh
they
yeah.
play. I've had them come over from Vegas, fly over to Vegas, play Counts Vamped. People love them. I would hope that there's a Vegas crowd. Some will come just for them um, along the way. God, I hope I
That
haven't left the band out. The Well, you know,
now we've talked about. I got the
the
list right
Well.
here. So we've talked about High Desert Queen, Basque, The Well, Isaac,
Well, the
Saturna.
Well we haven't talked a lot about. And Lisa Alley.
Oh
Uh,
no, it was the Quill.
yeah, Lisa Alley, the bassist, she does, basically is like a co-vocalist with Ian on guitar. And so their songs are very much harmony vocals, and they're like cool, kind of heavy psychedelic, a little bit of retro, but at the same time, kind of has some doom elements, darker elements in there. And they played all over the place. They're doing a tour around this. I First time I saw them was at the very first Ripple Fest opening. It was like called, the pre-party. And I was like, oh, hell yes. And I told her, I go, you know, if I reboot Planet Ezra Rock, I'm going to want to get you guys. And so fast forward years later, um, I even had them for a show with Thousand Mods for a Vegas Rock Revolution show here in Vegas. And they even played with Heavy Temple and Valley of the Sun one time in Vegas as well, the last couple years. And they bring it every single time. People love it. And Lisa is a great on-stage performer at the same time. We got three ladies rocking this time with Katarina from Paralyzed. You got Lisa from The Well, and you got Morgan Miller on bass for High Desert Queen, along with her dad, Rusty, on guitar. And the
God,
wild
High
man,
Desert Queen are
Ryan.
so fucking good, dude.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah. And Ryan and them are gonna, they're gonna inject us with some energy on Sunday when we need it. We need to wake up on Sunday. And
Oh yeah.
the hearts can be beaten for that one. And
You
then
got
we can come down at the end and space slug the lights, hopefully be a little bit lower and darker. And we're going to go into the spaciness that drift off in. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be a it'll be a killer weekend.
Yeah. I hope so.
Oh,
I wish you were coming, but I
me
know
too.
the challenges you have, and I know you'll be there in spirit, and we'll be thinking of you. I'll be
For
thinking of
sure.
you. Yeah. And the quill, I think a lot of people don't realize what the quill is. They're 30 years of doing this. They're from Sweden, for God's sake. Like Blackwater Rising, they write really good rock and roll songs that
Oh
are,
yeah.
and they come out of the vein of the, like Led Zeppelin meets Black Sabbath, with a singer. God, he is a rock and roll singer. Like he, really gets after it. He's
Yeah.
probably the biggest get after it singer uh, of this bunch, we'll say. You'll see.
Hell yeah.
I mean, you
I
won't see.
I want to see. I got to take a lot of video for me.
I always take at least a video or two for each one.
Yeah.
My man over at Doom Tomb podcast, he just dumped like 10 video from Planet Desert Rock. It's really good ones. I mean, he does it really up close to the stage. So you really hear the guitars. The vocals maybe aren't as much because vocals are coming also from PAs and all this other stuff. So, but man, he captures some good video.
Hell yeah.
I'm always a little bit further away, taller, so I can kind of zone in. And the iPhone does great sound. So yeah, I got some I'm going to release re-release out there as well from this past year. You know, but I'm just really, I'm excited to get this baby out there. Hopefully, travel wise, everyone makes it okay. Everything works out fine. Yeah, Devil and Almighty Blues told me if anyone falls off, they'll play a second set, and I'm like, all right, yeah.
Hopefully no one falls off, but holy shit, a second set from them. Oh God.
Right, yeah, yeah. That's
Well,
that's yeah. Fingers crossed on that.
hell,
So
yeah,
really, you just never know in this world. So,
I
but
know.
it's the ticket sales have been the best we've ever had, other than my first year when I had a night with John Garcia at Hard Rock. This has been the best pre-sales ever. So obviously the word's getting out. I released like 8 bands, when I first put the tickets on sale, or maybe it was even 6, and sales were like immediate, and
Yep.
that is encouraging. That's what matters because you really to do this, it has to make numbers sense because if you do something, you're losing money and you're losing a lot of money. And that also means people aren't coming as much as you were hoping. And that has a trickle down effect on the bands as well. I had a disaster when I did my second one. Amazing festival, but I lost, 5 digits worth of money minimum. So
Oh,
I have a lot of making up to do. And so it's great to see people out supporting. I pay the bands, obviously. This isn't a door deal. And it's just the energy and the experience because life really is going to, in the end, it's about experiences and relationships. And that's
yeah.
what's important. It's not thinking about sitting on a couch on a Friday night or, you know, doing crossword puzzles or whatever the heck people are doing instead of going to live music. You know what I mean?
Uh,
And you don't
I don't
have
know
to
those
drink and
crossword puzzles.
yeah, some people like it. My mom loves it, gets her brain thinking,
Yeah.
but she's the least of our rock and roll. She thinks everything I have is noise, trust me.
Oh,
Oh,
I know. Mine does too.
yeah,
It's
I don't care.
it's hilarious.
Yeah, I
Whatever.
play her Dirty Street some, and she seems to be warmed a little bit. She goes, "Well, it's better than most of that stuff." And I'm like, "They're from Memphis, and my mom lived in Memphis, so." But anyways, for
Little
everyone who's
connection.
listening, I just want to thank everyone that has been part of the Planet Desert Rock family and is coming, and for people that are considering it, you're more than welcome to be part of this. You're not a stranger once you get there. The
Not at all.
bands are open and easy to hang out with and talk to, or don't talk to anyone and just take in the music. It's up to you. You do not have to bring friends, but hey. It's always a party if you bring some, but you don't have to
No,
because you will literally meet people. So
you have to bring
it's
friends. You have to bring
we're
friends
talking you'll
because
be
you want this to
around,
keep going.
yeah, you'll be around 300 people. It's not like this is out in a field with thousands and thousands of people. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It'll be a fucking great time for everyone that shows up. It was last year. It'll be great next year. I'm sure of it. The lineup is killer. I am I'm so sad to be missing this whole weekend because it is an experience that everyone should experience.
Agreed.
Okay, John, I gotta rock, man.
Thank you so much, Mr. Robbins. Good to see you back in action. And we'll keep you posted on things, all right?
All right, sounds good. Have a great night, my friend.
Thank you. Peace.
See ya.